And good morning, and this will be our first video lesson that I'm doing with you here. So you can see that I have Python called up. And just so you know, I'm on page 17 of the worksheet packet if you have that at home with you. If not, you can download it from my website. And so you can see I'm here in the Python shell. If you're having trouble, if you don't have Python installed on your machine, remember you can always use, I'll just type it right here. This isn't going to be a right command, but you can use repl.it. And you can go there and you can code online. There's also other online sites. Maybe I'll list them on the in the description here for this lesson. But for right now, I'm just going to use plain old Python, and hopefully the letters are big enough for you. You can also make them bigger. If you go to Configure Idle, you can go all the way up to 29. Let's see what that looks like. Apply. That's what I wanted to do. And say, okay, so there, it's nice and big. So hopefully this will be visible for you. Now remember, we don't write a program in the shell because we can't save it from the shell. So we got a new file, and let me maximize that. And like I said, I'm just doing this program it's on page 17. So even though some of the other, like the YouTube examples, they don't always show like the define main, and we really should have comments too. So we should have Frederick's, remember this is a single line comment, Frederick's sample program, just so we know. And it's just good programming habit to have a define main. Like I said, some of the YouTube people don't because they really want you just to focus on, okay, the ifs and the if-else and the functions. But this is really a good habit, especially when we move into functions. So we're going to say answer equals input. Do you want to play? And we're going to specify that we really like a yes or no answer. Now notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a space in there. It's a really good idea to put that space in there. It just looks so much better and makes it much easier for the user to work with. The input says we're going to get a word. But we really only care about the first letter. And we really want to make sure maybe that it's lowercase. I'm going to show you how to deal with the first letter in a minute. So all I did here was I said answer equals answer.lower. Now I have to answer equals answer.lower. Those spaces don't matter, but we'll put them in there just to be safe. Because if I don't do that, it doesn't change the variable. Now we're going to get into the if statements. If answer sub 0, so that's in the brackets. Remember that computer languages, almost all of them, start counting from 0. So 0 really means the first letter. And then I want to say, is that equal to lowercase y? And then remember, we have to end with a colon. We can't use a single equal. You can see we used a single equal here because we wanted to change the value of the variable. Here we don't want to change that variable. We don't want to change what the answer is. We just want to say, is it yes or is it no? And we really only care about the first letter. So then we're going to say print, and we'll just give a little message here. Yay. Something like that. Oh, and I'm just using double. You can use single or double quotes, but it's better to use double quotes, especially if you're doing sentences. Now we're going to say, well, what if they said no? So we're going to say elif, which is else if, answer sub 0 equals no, or n for no. Don't forget the colon there. Print. Aww. And I got to be consistent with my quotes there. You might say, well, why don't you just use another if statement? I actually could. But when you're doing these comparisons, it's better to link them to say, first check if it's yes, then check if it's no, and then we'll check and give an option. We'll say, well, what if they just type something else? I mean, if you're asking for a string, I could type a number. Print you were supposed to enter Y or N. And then we'll say main, because that calls the function. All right, so let's save this program, because we always got to save it. And where are we going to save it? Desktop okay? Yeah, desktop's okay, so we'll just say test. Now let's run it, and we'll see if I made any mistakes. If I did, we'll go back and fix them. I'm not going to cry about it. So do I want to play? So if I enter yes, it says yes. Or it says yay. Now because we use the main function, I don't have to go back and run it again. I can just say main. I'm going to try all the options. Okay, so it works for yes. Works for no. Let's see if it works for 1, 2, 3. 3. It works. It says, please enter a yes or enter a no. So we've kind of taken care of all the main choices here. So let's try one more of these. So I'm going to go back to my file here. There we go. And I can be a little bit lazy here because I can just, don't worry about writing the define main again. I can just delete that out. And we'll start again. So now I'm doing the first program. It's on the top of page 18. And this one I start to put some more comments in. Get the raw score. We really, as we write larger programs, things that are more than 5 or 10 lines, we have to start reminding ourselves where things are at. Print this program will convert, I'm going to make it a little shorter, quiz grades to percents. So I'm going to say the raw score equals float input. Because now we're looking for a number. We're not looking for a string like somebody's name or yes or no. We're looking for a number. So we're going to say float. So the raw score is the number of points you earned. And that should be pretty good. Now let's calculate the grade. So the grade equals the raw score divided by 50 times 100. Because I'm going to assume that there were 50 possible points on this particular quiz. Okay, and we'll check the grade. Here's where the if statements come in. So if the grade is less than 65, print you failed with a grade of, I'm going to shorten it here. Now watch, you use a comma here. And if I want, I can even put the percent in. I'm changing it a little bit from the way it is on the slide there, just so, or on the paper there, so make it look a little different. Then we can say else, because in this case we probably only had 2 choices. Print you passed with a, and don't forget those commas, because it won't string your stuff together without the commas. So we'll give this program a save, and we'll give it a run. So let's say, oops, I didn't put a, see, and I didn't follow my own advice there. I didn't put a space in there. Let's put a space in there. Enter the number of points you earned. See, I want to have a little bit of a buffer room in there. So let's say somebody got a 45. That should be a 90%. That's pretty good for a tester quiz. Yeah, passed with a 90%. And let's see if somebody only got a 20. Nope, that's a 40%. They failed. Now let's say somebody enters something they shouldn't. It won't work. Say, well, why not? Because we were looking for a float. That's what we were looking for, a float value there. And that's not what they entered. So what we're going to do today then is I'm going to have you answer a few questions, maybe write a short program, and then we'll see you in the next video.